Hello, what's up? It's Nick, Nikolai, Nicholas. Fuck, I don't know. Um, you're not meant to swear in the first couple minutes of these things, so it keeps the ad rev. But too late. Um, it's Sunday. I'm still sick. I'm fucking tired, and we're gonna talk about a lot of shit. It's gonna be quite off the cuff today. Cause fuck it, why not? I'm trying to see how loud it is. I think this is probably good. That's probably better. Yeah, okay. Alright, so Satsang, Sangha, Sunday, Sangha. So Satsang is just the company that you keep around yourself while you're along the path. So, some people will go to monasteries or churches or mosques or whatever kind of place that they need to go to feel connected to God. And then usually there's people in those spaces. Like if you go to a monastery, you can essentially live there. They'll bring you food, you can sit in meditation. They facilitate your spiritual growth. If you're pure and your intentions are straight and you're actually there to get on with it and get the work done. Yeah, satsang. You could do it on Saturday or Sunday or any other day of the week, but I like Sunday because it's today and it rhymes kind of. Sunday satsang feels good. So I think another part of the reason that satsang is useful, if you find a teacher that you feel really resonates with you, being around them and doing practice with them and just looking and observing how they live their life can, in the same way if a log gets put on the fire and it's starting to burn, and maybe start to do some meditation and get some presence and just start to shift perspectives, because that's pretty much the whole point of the spiritual trip, is to shift perspectives. Once you start doing that, if you find someone who is purely burning, is really intent on being mindful, focused in the way of things, being with them can really enhance your presence. So if I resonate with you, maybe this will be useful, because that's what the internet's for, is connection. Connection. We're all connected now. We already were beforehand. With all the hippy dippy spiritual, all the atoms are all fucking... I don't care what your religion is or what it's going on, but it's all much more interesting than they make it seem. Even if it's just the Big Bang. Because that shit's still pretty wild. Yeah. Got lost in that one. I might just start. We'll start with a little bit of meditation, and then we'll go from there. We'll just let it roll. I might just try and do this for a couple, an hour or two, and everyone can just hang out on the Sundays. Yeah, we'll do a meditation. So if you guys want to get comfy, get straight, just get here. Just take a second. Just find somewhere that you are. Maybe the breath. Maybe just the body sensations. Feel your feet, toes, hands, Just get to this moment right here, right now. You breathe deeply. Now just focus your attention on the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Just try and notice the next inhalation from the moment it begins all the way through. And the next one. And the next one. Just staying with the breath all the way through the out breath. Feel the muscles shift. And now place your attention either at the tip of the nose, watching the breath come in and out, or in the abdomen, feeling the muscle and the breath rising and falling. So just at the tip of the nose or in the belly, just follow the in and out breath. If you get lost in thought or sense perception, just come back to the breath gently, and in and out. Just back to the breath. As you notice the breath, just feel it in its fullness, all its senses, any thoughts that come with it. Let it be like a current in an ocean or a river. Now sense the space around you, keeping with the breath. It's all just coming up. The breath, the room around you. Feel into your body, the feet, the legs, torso, chest, spine, arms, hands, neck, shoulders. Just come back into your head. If your eyes were closed, open your eyes. If they're already open, open them. And just notice how you're like looking out at the world. You know, whatever's going on. I'm just in my room. It's just a wall and some mirrors. Just notice that looking out, the sense of moving outwards. And just relax that. I mean, we know this from science. The light's just bouncing towards us. We're not going out there to grab it. We're not looking at things. Our eyes are just perceiving the light that makes it in. And if you want to relax a little bit today, just try and picture life that way. It's like we're just in the ocean and we are the current. Especially on a Sunday, because of whatever reason. But especially if you just exist in the world as a person, I'm sure you feel like Sundays are pretty chill. Unless you're at work right now or you're doing something, but Sundays for me feel very chill. Today's been chill. It's been nice. So, hopefully you're all feeling good. Just a little bit of breath, meditation. It's really just a device that we use to stay with something. A lot of the time we just kind of let our lives happen to us and not in a surrendering to the current kind of way, in a, you know, letting it run completely loose without any rhyme or reason. And it's good to kind of take some time every now and again to just come back to center. Make that chest kind of puff out. Put some attention in your spine. Breathe. I'm still a little sick. It's been so rough not having my full capacity of breath the last like week and a bit. But alas, here we are. Still got it, still there, still kicking. How's everyone going? I hope everyone's going good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think we're just gonna hang out. I was hanging out with my dear friend the other day. He told me, I think I asked him what I should talk about next, and I was gonna do it that afternoon, and then I got lazy, probably ate too much food, didn't stream. Sucks, shit happens, here we are. He gave me two. I forget what the first one was, but the second one was talk about why drugs are bad. And I think that's pretty easy. Now, I'm really trying to focus at the moment on not telling people what to do or what not to do, but just share like what's worked for me. So if I was going to take the case against drugs, I would just say you either think you have free will, like you either think that you chose to watch this and tune in here, or chose to be in your profession, or chose to go to school, or chose any of this. You either think you have free will, or you don't have free will, or you think you don't have free will, whichever way you want to put it. But let's just make it simple. You either think you do, or you know you don't. You know, like, or you know you do, and you know you don't. Let's keep it like that. If you have free will, you do not have to be any way. You can just kind of hear what's the most appropriate thing to do and do that. Because I think a lot of people use drugs. And all of them. Like alcohol, cigarettes, any form of chemical, lollies, junk food, all of that as an escape or to fill some kind of pleasure. And pleasure's sweet. I like pleasure. Pleasure's great. But, if your goal in life is to strive towards happiness, and if you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, you're going to spend a lot of time not fulfilled. Happiness is great, and especially once you start, or if you decide to start really paying attention to what you should be doing in terms of, I don't know, being the best for everything in your control, and then understanding the things that aren't in your control are just to be worked with. You tend to just create this field that permeates outwards. It's like a ripple in the water that continues to expand if you keep putting energy into listening to what to do. And that's like education. That's educating yourself. That's going outside, getting in tune with, the planet we're in. I'm going to do a stream outside very soon because it's nice. But, it's like the middle of the day. I've been outside all day, so it's nice to be inside and just chatting shit. Putting your feet in the ground, like really getting in tune with nature. And I think I'll talk about like drugs for a second, but alcohol and cigarettes, maybe not even cigarettes, but pharmaceutical drugs and all of those like synthetic, especially, and if you do them, you can kind of tell how they affect your body, and how like drinking a bunch of beers like kind of knocks you out in terms of like physical but like smoking a little bit of somebody's joint, especially if you don't smoke, will send you to the moon. And it's not a huge, you'll cough for like a little bit, maybe have a tingly throat. If you're really sensitive, maybe you'll notice it for a couple days that's what happened. But it's not gonna like ruin you. It's not gonna knock you out. I think a lot of these synthetics are very escapist, and I think the further they get from working with our system, the more foreign they are from who we are. There might be some use to those, but they're pretty dangerous, especially if you're just trying to get control of something like the mind or your spirit or your destiny, whatever you want to call it. Or even if you're just trying to get control of your body, like if you're trying to stop doing something, or, you get nervous jitters, so you need to smoke. Like, there's a couple better ways to do that other than chemically. Chemicals may be useful, but if we're arguing against drugs, I just think a lot of this can be straightened out by changes in lifestyle, and then especially changes in environment. I'm doing this Satsang. This is just an environment, essentially. The people equivalent of the environment. It's just the company that you keep with you. And If you change your environment and change the people that you interact with, your being changes. We're like the current. So as the water flows through it, if we're the water in the current, we're more current than water, and the water's just going. So if the current changes, we change. We change our environment, everything around us changes. You know, we change. It takes a little bit of time for those vibrations to like come in and reflect. But that's why people go places on holidays. People will drive hours and hours and hours to sit at a beach. I'm the same. Just went for a bike ride today. Went to a park, hung out there for a bit, just like sat with the trees and looked around and stopped looking at my phone and just got here. And nature does that really well. It'll like really quickly put you where you are, especially if you're somewhere that resonates with you and is powerful. If you're into oceans and you sit on like a cliff face that's rocky, and you can feel the ocean. It'll raise like 3-4 meters at a time, and you're just sitting there and you're like, wow, that's so much energy just flowing right now. And you can sit there breathing, just looking at like the sun and the sky and then the ocean and go, fuck. It's all just bits of stuff, and it's mostly space between it. And it's like, wow, we get to watch this dance because we have, you know, these senses and the ability to think. And we get to like, I was hanging out with my cat before, both of them. Well, there's 2 cats that live with me, and one of them's mine, but I was hanging out with both of them before, and just like put me right here. You know, I'm looking at both of them and I'm like, wow, you guys are just here. And my cat just like plopped next to me and looked at me, and I was giving her pats, and then my other cat was here and I was giving him pats, and it was like, wow, okay, we're all just right here. What else? Where else are we going? So I think a lot of drugs, you just kind of run from reality, in a sense. And that's, look man, understandable, but probably not sustainable. And then there's some other drugs, like plants, like, I don't know, marijuana, mushrooms. There's a whole bunch of really easily, like, processed drugs in the body. And a lot of them just come from plants. And I think a lot of those, really, what the pull towards them is that pull towards nature. And I think we live so removed from the reality of nature that I think it makes so much sense people smoke a lot of weed. I think it makes so much sense people are drawn to these psychedelics, because it's so, that's where we just spent the last forever being, was like hanging out, picking shit out of our nails and looking at dirt and trees. I think a lot of the mental illness problems at the moment pretty much stem from the fact that we're in a brand new environment. Psychologically, physically, mentally, all of it. It's so new to all of us. And I think that's it's a fair reaction to be anxious about being somewhere new, because we've developed lots of skills to be where we were. And here we are. I'm looking at a supercomputer that's like plugged into another computer with a microphone and some headphones and this piece of machinery, like these things. Look at my laptop, yo, shout out the Spurs. But all this shit makes no sense. And I've got huge glass mirrors here. I live in a house. Got a bandana. I got a hoodie. Like, look at all this shit. Think about all the people that made all this stuff. Just look around your room and think about how many, probably hundreds and thousands of people made everything that you're looking at. Software. Think about how complex these things get. And they're just getting more and more complex. And here we are. And I think the plants kind of simplify things. You know, even if you just sit on an ocean and you feel those waves come through and you're just sitting there watching it, you know, that really just makes you understand, sorry about the bike, that makes you feel the reality of like how much energy is here, and that energy is just being exchanged all the time. It's just being be an energy floating around in the ocean of existence. I think that's the Buddhist. What do they say? Samsara. That's where we are. Nirvana's like peace blown out, nothing is. Samsara is like reality, the hell worlds, where physical. But yeah, so I think if we're arguing against drugs, you can just do it here. You know, if you, and especially if you're older, I think you guys, I'm going to try and figure out how to get to you guys, so I might have to get on Facebook Live. That'd be funny. That's so funny. I think the older generation should really just learn these things for us. And for themselves, mostly. Like, you'll get free of the fact that you might not be happy. And if you are happy, sweet. But I'm sure you haven't been happy, and I'll teach you how to not ever be just caught in yourself. But you guys have the advantage of maybe still having attention spans. I think the hardest thing now with kids, and I think one thing that might help, is that the tech and the constant influx of information will burn them out, so they'll want to do meditation and yoga and just look inward. And I think, especially with the reflection on the phone, I think that's the other thing. We see ourselves so much more. I think that's like boxed us in a bit, but we're walking around the prison cell with the keys. We just don't know we have them. So I think the drugs make sense because I think everybody wants to be free. Everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants to find contentment and joy and peace and love. I don't know, if you don't, fair, man. And there's some people that just, it's heavy. I think some people might need certain chemicals. And we've got surgery and stuff, like, with anesthetics. I think we should all just look at these all as, like, what they are, instead of being, like, drugs. You know, they're just chemicals. We can't ban species. What, are we just extinct? Like, completely genocide a species just because, you know, relative to us, the mushroom kind of just taps us on the shoulder and goes, hey man, what are you, I've been around like 1 billion years longer than you, what are you doing? Yeah, I don't think they banned these things because governments are polite and were looking out for you in case you jumped off a window on a chemical. I think they clearly saw that the communication channels with nature and maybe even just other modes of mind are there, and that doesn't fit in a world that is so far removed from the magic of reality. You know, we look around and think we understand all this stuff, and I think like we've gotten pretty good. Like, we're launching rockets and look at all this shit, and like our communication's pretty tight. I think the only thing that matches it on the planet is octopus. They're probably cooler than us, but it sucks they're in the water. They don't have skeletons. I don't know, man. We've hit a really nice little niche here, and I think drugs aren't necessary anymore. Everybody thinks so psychedelically. We're all watching people on the phones. It's insane. Like, like, what do you need the thing for? It seems cool, and it is. It's a groovy experience. I think it's like sex or anything in life. It's like, it'd be a shame if you didn't get to experience that part of being. But I think ultimately, the work that needs to be done has to be done by you. And it isn't really going to get done by the plant. You're going to have to surrender. Cut a deal with a plant. I think that's a Terence McKenna quote. Wouldn't you rather cut a deal with a plant than, you know, ask for some other human's advice. I'm all for religion. I'm all for everything. I love humanity as a whole. If there's anything you should take from me, this is like my art at the moment. Make art. The world needs it more than you do. If you have any inkling to make something, do it. Because we are just the thing. It's coming through us. Everything that you do. So you may as well make something. If you feel like it. And if you don't. You'll know what you want to do. Just listen. But it's not going to yell at you. It's not going to scream out at your face like, do this. It's going to very quietly tap you on the shoulder and go, hey man, maybe just over there. That's what you should be doing. And then you'll go, oh, fucking course, that's what I should be. It'll be like after it happens, when you trust it enough, you'll just be like, oh no shit. Like clearly. I hope you've all had the experience of seeing the universe and clearly seeing that it loves you. And if you just trust it, it's going to be okay. Because if you've seen it, like most people have seen a sunset, most people have had some moment that really moved them. If you just bring that experience to mind, like that's what your life should be at all times. It can be. That sounds cooler than happy. Especially if happy means I have to always be in some kind of state to elicit the happiness. That's heavy. But if I'm just charged by newness, excitement, difference, the ability to respond instead of react, there's the freedom. And I think drugs at the end of the day are chemicals. They're always just going to be a reaction. They might be interesting. Reactions are interesting. Breathwork's cool. Working out's cool. I like skateboarding. I love skateboarding. I like yoga. Those things make me feel good. But they're chemical reactions. I think we're much more than that. At least if you believe in spirit at all. Or if you've ever had a dream. Or just understand that you can do this. You're also the thoughts. And then clearly the other thing that's making it all happen. If you just can understand and look at that and just lapse reality for a minute. Maybe believe that that's true and go, That's why when I work out I feel good. My mind's sharper. And that's why when I use my mind more, it's more opportunities happen. Because the spirit's guiding that. You just kind of have to juggle between the planes. And drugs send you up, and you come right back down. Or they chill you out, and then they wear off, and you come right back up. Or they let you go, but then you come right back down. And then you're sitting there as yourself, and you're like, oh, I was all of it. I was everything. And now I'm back here in this meaty suit cage. But ultimately I think you can get there without drugs. Exercise, meditation, breath work does a lot. But even past that, it's just a choice. If you have the free will that you know that you have or think that you have, decide to be whichever being you want to be. Be Buddha, be Jesus, be Steve Jobs, be Kanye, be Barack, be anybody. You can just become that, emanate that. That's my talk on don't do drugs. I wouldn't do them because they're a shortcut I think you have to pay for. In a very long-term metaphysical sense. But they definitely are useful tools. And I think one of the best, and it's changed culture over millennia, but even just in the last little bit, since the 60s to now, culture is psychedelic. even if we weren't legalizing these drugs, if they all completely disappeared, like the Beatles happened, everything that's happened up till now has happened, and now this is happening. Everybody reacting to themselves, reacting to someone else's reaction to, like, what the fuck is this? This strange, orgasmic, digital, whatever this is. I don't know. But if you think you are who you are, decide to be who you want to be. And if I had any advice to give out, which I'm trying to stop doing, I'd be grateful. Grateful's probably, if you want the spiritual shortcut, gratitude's the quickest way to good feeling in the long and short term. So, begin there. Another thing I wanted to talk about was just kind of on that, like, being grateful for the context in which you exist. And that means all of it, front to back, even all of the fucked up shit that's ever happened to you and everybody else. And it's kind of hard being grateful for that. So start with what you can be grateful for. Pick a dear loved one, pick a friend, pick a family member, pick whatever floats your boat, and just send them grateful vibes. Will kind of at least change the texture of your mind, make it a little more fun, at least a little warmer and expansive. But yeah, what was I saying? Gratitude. Yeah, gratitude for the context in which you are. And I think the gratitude will also help you build that trust. I think a lot of people take drugs because they don't trust themselves, they don't trust reality to, be pleasurable or even bearable. But at the end of the day, if you can grow that gratitude for the people in your life, for the things that you have, even if you can just breathe. Like, I've seen all these TikToks that are like, when you start to get a cold and then realize you've been sick. But I've seen all of these since I've got sick, and I'm just waiting to feel good again and be like, that's what it's like. Full health. How nice. How nice. Yeah, that shit's, I think, key. But yeah, I did one of these on forgiveness the other day, and I think that's a pretty good hack to getting in a state where you can forgive, is being grateful. Because then, and I kind of, like, I'm sitting here right now thinking like, I can sit in gratitude for the whole history of the universe up until this moment. But that's just because I can't hold it all in my head. Like, everything I can try and be grateful for. But, the universe is grateful that it happened, and you're just part of the universe. So it should be pretty easy for you to resonate with the rest of the entire universe, to feel grateful for your existence. Ja, man. Yeah, so drugs bad, also good, very useful, quite a good indicator that I think even just the mushrooms, but the fact that on the other side of a chemical reaction, especially with a plant, and a lot of the plants seem to be very planty in the way that they exist, I think shows us that there is more mind out there, and it doesn't have to be in a primate body, the mind can exist in many, many forms. I think the mushrooms had its form for like 1 billion years before us. That's a lot of years to have essentially be giving the same energy outwards. And here we are, taking it to like look at lights or introspect the universe. I don't know, whatever floats your boat. Just do it with intention. If you have the intention of being good, being a good person, growing, and bring that intention to the gratitude that you're, bringing about in yourself, that's some powerful, that'll do a lot for you. That'll, I think it's all about intention at the end of the day. Intention, 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 intention. If you know why you're doing it, the why is the biggest question, especially when it comes back to like forgiving people. When you can just understand that everyone's just a set of circumstances that happen to them. And, if you take it a little further, this one's a bit far out there, but these are all just little exercises to keep the game going smooth. But if I just picture everyone and go, okay, right before we both came into this one, as souls, we were like, yeah, we'll all do this stuff to each other because we need it for our growth and our journey, or for fun, whatever the fuck they're doing it for. And you look at people like that and you see the why, all the circumstances that their life has amounted to that thing happening to you. And then you go, okay, well, that's fine. That's in the way of things. It's just what's happened. Because on that higher level, they're here, in the same way that you're here, to just because you have to be. You are here for whatever reason. But clearly you're here. You're meant to be here right now. Look at that. If you're watching this, think about it. You're alive on a planet in a universe. And I don't know, man, the more I look at the timeline, it was like the universe was around, and then this planet was kind of here for a bit, and then life, and now here we are. Like it's been pretty quick. When you, like, 13 billion years sounds like a lot of time. But what's your reference point? I don't know. This might just be the beginning of something. Who knows? Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Satsang. I might go get some water. But yeah, no. I'm glad to be alive on a planet and breathing air. I think I've got water in the fridge too. Clean water. Fuck. I'll be back. And we back, and we back, and we back, no no no. And we back, and we back, no no no. This ain't no intro, this the entree. Sorry. I'm not, I'll be honest with you, I'm not. Because we're just hanging out, man. Just hanging out. Yeah. Cut up an orange. I'm pretty good about that one. Yeah, I saw a TikTok or some shit the other day. I'll have to look into it more, but I'm gonna believe the dude because it fits my little mantra I do in my head about the sun. But we are more efficient at emitting light than the sun is. We just do it in particle form, and we're essentially a solar event as human beings, what we are right now. Which makes sense, 30 trillion cells. Look at all the stuff we do, and we know we're doing it. That's wild. That's crazy. It's like how they say we don't use 100% of our brain. I think that's incorrect. I think our whole brain's working all the time. But we clearly only notice certain things. You know? Like we all notice, our senses, feeling, touch, taste, smell, sound, looking. We got the 5 senses, and we can feel and absorb information from the outside world in these 5 ways. And it's funny, the way the brain does that for your experience, because it's always doing stuff. Like people will say you should take breaks from things because your brain is always working on everything that you're thinking about in the background. But we have this kind of flashlight of awareness. So, we can sit here and, we look out and we can notice things. We can tune into the sounds. We can feel like our feet and our hands. Just notice what your tongue's doing. Got orangey flavor in there. And then, I'm pretty sure they've realized, and you're going to have to take this one for the team, because I don't fucking know, but I'm going to believe it. Especially when you get kind of calm and slow, it kind of feels that way. But only one of these things, one sense input is ever happening at a time. But it's all happening in such rapid succession, like when we see a film, or we listen to sound, it's the same thing. Like the quality of reality is just so high that we don't notice and we interpret these things. You can notice this in your eyes. If you move your eyes, if you could see all the movement that was going on, you'd be so sick. But your brain just blocks it out when it's moving. If you look in the mirror, you'll never see your eyes move. I've got a mirror there, but if you do the same, you'll never see your eyes move in a mirror because your brain blocks out the movement. When you're in a room and like you'll be doing something and then you'll notice the clock ticking. And it wasn't in your awareness at any point before that, but as soon as you notice it, it's there, and it'll probably stick around, and you'll be trying to read something and you'll be sitting there and you'll be hearing this clock tick and you'll be like, fuck, I didn't even hear that before. It wasn't even in your field of awareness. But there it is. Just there. Just like out of attention. Not even out of space. Just out of attention. Crazy. So I think the quality of attention that you bring to life is probably just one of the most important things that you can do. It'll get you the furthest. Yeah. So we have all these sense perceptions. We notice it all in succession. And we've got one other sense. We've got the introspective, the thoughts. We can notice, you can feel your toe, right? You can feel into the body. But at a certain point, there are places where there aren't nerves. You can still feel and understand, conceptualize that you've got a bone. And you can conceptualize places, people, everything. You can use your mind in a lot of ways, and that's the other sense. So, it's Satsang. Let's get free. If you're trying to get free, at any point in time, you can just simply notice that there's only 5 senses, and those kind of break into 10, because there's the sense of the awareness and then the sense of the object. So you have sound, but there has to be someone listening to the sound. There has to be someone seeing the sight. There has to be someone feeling the feeling. So you've got these 5 things that are also 6. 10, because they break into 2 parts. And then this 6th thing, mind objects, thoughts, feelings, all of the internal experience of self, essentially. So those are the only things that can ever be happening to you. So that's why in meditation we come back to the breath a lot. When we go into this mode of feeling, one, it takes us out of a lot of other modes, and it takes us out of our thoughts, and it takes us out of the awareness of sense, like the introspective perception of reality. So if you're really attending to the breath, it's not like the mind goes quiet. Your attention just is on the breath. So you don't have to take in all of the energy that's going on there. It can just be in the background. And yeah, I kind of got a little lost there. But perception is the key. There's essentially 12 objects of mind that can ever be happening at a time. And 6 of them are linked to 6 of them. So there's only ever awareness of thoughts, and then the thoughts. You can't really separate them, so it turns just back into 6 things. You can have the experience of being the experiencer, or you can just have the experience arise within experience. And then you no longer have to be there, because it's just happening. It's sounding rambly. Cheers. Yeah, if you come in here for high energy entertainment, it's not it. It might be at some point. There'll be clear distinctions. But I think if it's live on this channel, it's just me here. Howdy. What are you doing? Looking at a phone? Looking at a screen? Looking at me? Looking at you? Crazy. You should text me. Because if you're interested in any of this shit, if you're just interested in mine, let's communicate. I think that's what technology does. I think we're all kind of lost in fucking social media at the moment, because it's all just like stuff. Oh yeah, boy. So I'm gonna start making stuff, so hopefully people find me. I don't want anyone who finds all of this shit. So I'm gonna chop it up, TikTok, all that shit. If you find it, reach out. Let's hang out. Let's build. We have shit to do, clearly. Because I really like being here. It's cool. But I'd rather be sitting by a beach, looking at the sky, dancing around a fire, having a good time, questioning, growing, and then just riding that wave of compassion. And the more you cultivate gratitude, the more I think you tend to just look for the most compassionate action to make. Because it'll make you grateful, because you can help people. If you're grateful for everything, you'll want to help everyone. There you go. People ask about how you solve capitalism. It's like, oh, socialism, and then there's the whole argument around that, yada yada, and then everyone's like, capitalism seems like the best option. There's two ways it goes. Because right now, if AI kind of does its thing, we won't need consumers to prop up the economy. So everyone can just live freely. That seems shallow as fuck, to be honest with you though, because I hate taking in most of the things that people make, let alone fucking computers. So let's just not do that, and let's all just end up in love. And then we'll just share everything. Yeah, it sounds pretty far out, and people just think like, oh, how do you do it, how do you do it, how do you do it? It's an inside thing. So we can be pessimistic and decide that it's not going to happen, or I think we can be realistic and understand that it's your choice, it's our choice. Just to be in me and how I've perceived the world, and just looking at the internet and how people's thoughts have changed, or at least the people that I'm listening to, but I try and listen to lots of people. Now's the time, I guess. If you feel like this, you've got to be like this. Because the economy is collapsing as it does, because it always goes up and down. Like, if you're worried about it, I wouldn't be. Just shit breathes. Everything breathes. The economy breathes. The whole thing that we're doing, the whole thing's breathing. So just come back to your breath. That's the closest thing to reality. And be here. Pay your fucking attention. Look around, man. What the fuck is going on? We're a mammal on a planet in space that's either been gifted or just evolved to the point of quite immense abilities. And they're fucking supernatural. You know, like, what the fuck has happened on this planet that isn't supernatural? What has happened in the universe that isn't supernatural? Like, I'm, I guess, agnostic, but, like, I pray to many gods, and now, like, at this point, I've seen lots and lots of, like, Islamic content. I think is just, I don't know what their plan is, but it seems like it's just coming more back around. Like, especially, like, watching it from, like, just the last decade, I guess. It's like, it's really being pushed now, and they've got a lot more people, I think, going, yeah. And, you know, I don't really know shit, but I'm just personally looking at all of it, praying to all of it, praying to everybody. I know what kind of floats my boat, and I know what gets me quiet enough to hear what I should do, and opening my heart enough to love. You know, as much as I can. I'm working on it. We'll figure it out. But whatever gets you going, whatever you need to channel your energy towards, just let it cultivate those things of gratitude, because it'll enhance your life immensely and just bring things towards you. So hopefully life can do that to me through this, and hopefully people will find this over the next, like, however long, and at some point there'll be people with me. I think that's one of the things religion does, is like cultivate community. And I think if we just look at nature, like we look at it now, we can solve the climate crisis just by like farming better and not fucking the soil. It's like really fucking simple, you know, if we just decided to do that now. But that'll put a whole industry out of business and this, that, and the third. So it's like, we're going to have to struggle for it. But I think humans are the same. We need nutrients, we need movement, we need change, we need people, we need good people, we need good environments, and we need to be moving. That's why I'd probably be like slightly anti-religion. I'm pro-religion, just not the ones that are very like, I want to be able to come in, fuck around, and move along. And then, you know, I'll figure it out. Might get to 40 and just become a Christian because it's easier. But at the moment, Hindu, Christian, Jewish, Islamic, Buddhist is, I guess, where we're at. Because I don't fucking know, bro. I just believe in nature. I believe that this thing is too magical to not recognize. And I kind of want to run that back because I'm trying to... I think the word belief is kind of like... Like, if it's there, it's there. If you believe in God, fuck out of here. Like, I get it, but if you know it's there, you know it's there. And if it's something that's there but isn't physical or whatever the fuck, you know, it's knowing it's there is faith. And I know the universe is more than, well, not even more than, it just is. I mean, when I just look at it, bro, I'm literally just in a room right now, but I got mirrors. It's like, it's fucking insane. What's going on here? Who knows? Who cares? Just come hang out. So yeah, that's the idea. I kind of want to keep going longer, but I don't know. I need to plan more things and figure more things out. But thanks for anyone that came along. Thanks for anyone that comes along in the future. This is just the beginning. Yeah. Enjoy your life. Take every moment and bow to it sacredly. If you truly acknowledge what's happening to you in every moment, even the devastating ones, it's all quite interesting, immensely interesting. It's like almost too astonishing that any of this is going on. So yeah, if you want to come hang out with me. I'm going to start making videos, doing clips of this, and then making short videos, and then like the reels and shit of, I don't know, I guess little techniques, like why prayer beads, or why meditate, or why breath work, and certain breath works, and this and that. That's kind of hit me though. I might do a little breath work before we go. So I'm going to end up the stream in a minute. Thanks for coming. I'm going to do some breath work if you want to do it with me. I'm going to do some box breathing. So that's just deeply breathing in the nose for 4. You hold for 4. You breathe out for 4. You can breathe out through the mouth. I'm going to do that and then just switch to nose. And then you hold on the out breath for 4 as well. This breathing just kind of expands. I don't know. There are ways to describe this. I am now just excited to do it, but just think about it logically. It's just going to expand your ability to be aware in different states of being. Your awareness is so closely linked to your breath. If you're feeling anxious, you probably just need to breathe deeper, because the body reacts to the internal feeling of anxiousness by breathing really shallowly. You start breathing deep, the anxiety might not go away, but at least you'll know it's fucking there, and you'll be trying to move in a different direction, and you'll probably be able to gain some kind of agency over it and change how you feel. It's easier said than done, but recently I've just been going to hang out downstairs, lying in the grass, and I'll just start chanting, you know, feeling the vibrations. Like 4 or 5 minutes go by and I'm in a completely different psychological space. Completely. Like a full new reality. A new environment to be in. And that's mad. That's so easy. I was gonna say something on that. Damn. Chanting, music. Oh. Look up bees and resonance. Bees and their resonance. they basically hum internally, and then a cavity inside them resonates with the earth. So their wings aren't really aerodynamic or big enough to like move them, but they change their resonancy so they become free and they can move about the universe as they want. And that's fucking true. It just is. Look it up. B resonance, B flying resonance, I don't know. Have a look. It blew my mind the other day. I've been into chanting for a while, but I've been doing most of it internally, just going on in there. But just oxygenating your body, breathing in certain ways. The different mantras will do different things. Do whatever works for you. You can chant. You can just go, I don't care, bro. Just get something moving. Say something affirming. Say, I am loving awareness. Say, oh, Monday, bad man, do whatever floats your boat. You know, it's your life. If you have free will, why would you choose to be miserable? I'm miserable all the time, so it's not like it'll fix it all the fucking time, but you can move away from it. So don't even get tripped out that like you'll become a new person. It'll take its time. Don't you worry. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna do a couple rounds of this and then we'll be out. So, if you're still here, want to join me? Go in for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. Hold for 4. And again. Thank you. For anyone that came, share with friends. Anyone who you think is fucking autistic or as schizophrenic as I am and would enjoy some space. I think that's the biggest thing that we can do for each other, is hold a compassionate, spacious awareness for people to come. And if they want to let go of their suffering, so be it. They get the choice. Choice? They get to choose. You can't take people's suffering from them, even if you love them. So, just be an example of what to be. And just fucking enjoy, man. Get some fruit. Get some oranges, man. Woman, lady, they, them. I don't care who you are. Because we're all just us. Nobody else we could be. Think you're fucking separate from any of this? Just stardust, baby. Thank you. Bye-bye.